So finally, the Swedish government has decided today to increase the financial support for those who want to leave Sweden voluntarily. Remember that a few months ago there was this proposal that came that the Swedish government is willing to offer a sum of 350,000 Swedish crown, which is about $35,000, for anyone that wants to leave Sweden and go back to their home country and start a new life, or maybe go to another country and start another life. So this is how the payment the Swedish Migration Agency has broken down the payment. A sum of 350,000 per person who is over 18 years old. One person get 350,000 Swedish crown. A person who is under 18 years is going to get 25,000 Swedish crowns. Maximum of 500,000 Swedish crowns for married couples and cohabiting partners. What do I mean by cohabiting partners? People that live together, because in Sweden you don't necessarily have to get married. You can be living together, sharing the same address, and that is cohabitation. So a couple can get 500,000 Swedish crown, maximum of 600,000 per household. So it means that a family can get a maximum of 600,000 Swedish crown. Okay. And they are saying that the Swedish government will also gain tools that will be able to fight fraud and abuse, because some people might want to abuse this money, maybe probably get money, more money, or maybe probably get the money and remain in Sweden. So who is eligible for this money? Because I know a lot of you will be coming to ask questions. And if you want to know more about this increment or about this law and how they are going to do it, and the whole information is on the Swedish Migration Agency website, and the news are just coming in. Okay, so who is eligible is the person must be a foreigner, not a Swedish citizen, who is or have been permanently residing in Sweden. And then the reasons as to why you are staying in Sweden maybe could be you have a refugee status, subsidiary protection, or humanitarian resident permits. And another person maybe that wish to return back to their home country or another country where they are allowed to live. So let's say maybe you have not integrated in Sweden and maybe you have a permit of another country and you're allowed to live there. You can actually get the money and go. Okay, and how is the application process going to be is that the application are made through the Swedish Migration Agency website, and then they need your identity and residence status, that the move is voluntary and permanent, which means once you go, you are not coming back to Sweden, that the applicant is not subject to criminal restriction that would disqualify them. So it means that if you have done criminal or something like that, that means you will be disqualified to get this money. And this will come into effect next year, January 2026. Guys, we are already in November, so I think it's only 1 month. So from January 2026, people can start making this application. And I'm just going to go through, because I had some notes here, typical eligible group based on past practice. It was refugee or persons in need to protection who no longer want to stay in Sweden, longer term residents without Swedish citizenship who have difficulties in integrating. Some people have problem integrating into this country. You can also be eligible for this money. Individual whose resident permits are expiring but who prefer to leave Sweden voluntarily rather than face deportation. Now, let's assume your resident permit is expiring. It's rather for you to go and get that money to move back to your home country or in another country rather than for you to get deported. Because I think that if you get a deportation letter, I think it's going to be very difficult for you to get this money. So you guys, if you have any question, let me know. But finally, today is the day the Swedish government approved or decided increasing the financial support for people that want to go back to their home country voluntarily. So you guys, I see you in my next one. Bye.